it does have, of course, you got your main villains. You know, you got your face huggers, you got your xenomorph with the football shaped head and the baby mouth coming out of the big mouth. You got all of that. But another thing that I did like, they did have some like Prometheus like features as well in terms of aliens. If you remember, Prometheus came out a while ago. I enjoyed the movie, but that was also dope to see as well. So it was really kind of like a medley of different types of aliens. Hey, what's going on, folks? Another episode of Ryan Reviews Everything, and we're talking about the movie that came out, Aliens Romulus. This is going to be a This is going to be a spoiler-free review, and let's get into it. First off, just to get it out the way, I really enjoyed this movie. I feel like Aliens is one of those franchises where it's hard to get it wrong, especially if you got the right people in place. Ridley Scott is involved in this picture, not as a director, but as a producer. The director is Fede Alvarez, and I felt like he did a great job of just expressing his imagination in terms of what you can add to, the whole outer space element of things, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. And the actors as well. Kaylee Spaney, who I wasn't really familiar with. The first time I saw her was in Civil War that came out earlier this year. She did a great job as the lead in this movie. As well as we have David Johnson, who also I felt like did an amazing job as a co-star. Not familiar with him as well, but when I looked at his IMDb, I see that he's in industry, which I heard great things about. Now I feel like I got to go back and see what the talk is about. But again, just rewind a little bit. I felt like the director did a great job of just really playing with certain things. Possibly a very, very minor spoiler alertish type of thing. But for example, there's some really cool scenes that involves like anti-gravity. There's also like pretty much the majority of the movie, or the turning point of this movie happens when a memory card is switched out of this cyborg android / human person, and then that's when things kind of go sideways a little bit. So just all those things that he was playing with, I thought was great. And once again, this is my last minor spoiler review type of thing. The only thing that I'm not tired of it yet, but I'm growing weary of it a little bit. In certain horror movies, I don't need every horror movie to all of a sudden have this feature. I don't want all these horror movies to feel like they're obligated to have this, to feature this whole thing where you have to be quiet in order for the monsters, or in this case, aliens, not to recognize you. I'm not talking about quiet so they don't hear you. I'm talking about The Last of Us quiet. I'm talking about The Quiet Place quiet. I'm talking about Don't Breathe type of quiet, to where like they don't sense you at all if you're quiet. Like you could be right in front of them, but if you're quiet, they can't see. I don't need that in all of my movies. That's my last minorish kind of spoiler review. There is an element to that, at some point in the movie, and I'm just like, all right, man, I'm not tired of it yet, but again, I don't want to be like this trend to where horror movies feel like it's just mandatory to throw in this be quiet so no monsters can detect you type of thing. That's all. That's just my minor vent. But it was shot very well. The visual effects is great. There was one type of CGI part, when it comes to a particular being, organism, however you want to put it, that it didn't take me out of the movie, but it was kind of harsh, just a tad harsh. But other than that, man, I thought this was amazing. For those who aren't familiar with what this particular version of Aliens is about, a handful of young adults, take board of an abandoned space station in order to get some type of cryogenic fuel, so they want to get 9 years worth of like cryogenic fuel so they could go to their dream destination and just get away from it all. So they get word that they could find what they're looking for on this abandoned space station, and when they go on it, that's when all hell breaks loose. Not being aware that this was a space station that was taken over by aliens in one of the previous, I guess, versions of the Aliens movie, and then that's when stuff goes to hell. Another thing I did like about it, it does have, of course, you got your main villains. You got your face huggers, you got your xenomorph with the football-shaped head and the baby mouth coming out of the big mouth. You got all of that. But another thing that I did like, they did have some like Prometheus-like features as well in terms of aliens. If you remember, Prometheus came out a while ago. I enjoyed the movie, but that was also dope to see as well. So it was really kind of like a medley of different types of aliens on this ship that these young adults had to deal with. And once again, I felt like the performance from the main two characters, which is phenomenal. Once again, that's David Johnson playing Andy, and we have Kaylee Spaney playing Rain. And I'm excited for it. If they have like a sequel to this particular version, I would very much be looking forward to it. And once again, I know I said it already, but I really do feel like you really can't go wrong with an Aliens movie, because you either, an alien somehow gets on your ship and all things go left, or you go on a ship like this movie and things go left because you weren't aware of the danger that you're walking into. So, Alien versus Predator, different story. Some of those Aliens versus Predators could have been, left, just left alone. But nevertheless, if you saw this movie, let me know what you thought. That's my review. Love it or hate it, that's my review. Peace.